So we last left off with discussing about this the relational or the comparison operators. You can also call the comparison operators as the relational operators. So we have seen how they operate. These relational operators, we have actually discussed about all of them. I think we have discussed about this. Let's comment this. Let's include all this inside a comment. We can actually comment this inside and print out what we have discussed. So we have discussed about this less than comparison operator, then the less than equals to, then we have also seen how to use the greater than equals to, then we have the greater than operator. So these were the operators, relational operators that we talked about. Now we also talked about there are two type of operators. One is called the identity operator, which is represented by 3 equals to sign or symbol, and we also talked about the non-identity operator that's represented with an exclamation mark with 2 equals to sign, and then we also looked at how to use the equals to symbol with the not equals to symbol. So we have seen all of these operators in action, but these operators they have a hierarchy inside the compiler. It's called the operator precedence. So what the compiler does is when it first encounters both these operators from if it encounters something like this, let's look at one example in here. If it encounters maybe it may encounter something like this inside your program. So what it does, it first looks at your relational operators, or it first looks at your comparison operators. So when it sees that it has got less than and it has also got the identity operator, it will first evaluate the values along with this less than symbol. So it will first evaluate the left hand operand visitor with the right hand operand 30. After it has evaluated the value, it will produce something, and that value will be evaluated along with this identity operator at the last. So what I mean in here is that when it first encounters this comparison operators along with this, or along with this identity and the equals to operator, identity non-identity equals to a not equal to operator, then it will first prefer this less than equals to, greater than equals to, and greater than equals to relational operators over this identity and equals to operators. So it will first always prefer these operators, then these ones. So I guess you will understand once I run this program. So let's run this. Let's save this part. And let's run our web page. So what we see in here is that our browser has actually ignored this script. It has ignored running this script. It just printed out the body section on our web page. So why did it actually ignore this part? You might be confused. The reason behind is that I already told you that it will always prefer less than equals to, greater than equals to, and greater than relational operators over this identity and the equals to operator. So what it means that it will first replace this visitor's identifier with the value of 12. So it will look something like this once the compiler has replaced it. So when it has replaced it, it sees that 12 is less than 30. So it will first evaluate this part. So it will read something like this: 12 is less than 30. Because 12 is actually less than 30, it's a smaller number than the 30, it will evaluate it to the boolean value of true, and it replace that section with this boolean value of true. Now again, it has encountered another relational operator that's lower in the precedence hierarchy. So because it's lower in the precedence hierarchy, it sees that this the condition tells us that the true is strictly equivalent to the numeric value of 12. So I guess you remember what this strictly equivalent means, or this identifier operator does. It actually takes in two operands and checks their data types along with their values. So the value that we have got in here is the value of true, and on the right for the left hand operand, and the value of 12 for the right hand operand. So this was the left hand operand and this is the right hand operand. So their values don't match, obviously, and the data type also, the data types, their individual data type don't also match. So what we see in here is that the left hand operand has got a data type of Boolean and the right hand has got a numeric data type, perhaps it's an integer. So none of the value or none of the values, none of the data types match. So this entire condition evaluates to false. Because this evaluates to false, this block of code won't execute on our browsers. That's why the compiler actually ignored the script part in our HTML page. Now we also need to compare these comparison operators with our arithmetic operators. Now we have got several arithmetic operators and they're really simple to use. We have got the plus or the addition, we have got the subtraction, then we have got the multiplication, then we have got the division, then again we have got the modulus operator. Now these arithmetic operators are because I have placed them higher in the order because they actually occur higher in the precedence. They actually occur higher in the order of precedence inside a compiler. So what they do is that when the compiler actually encounters this arithmetic operator, it will always, if it encounters actually this arithmetic operator along with this comparison operators, it will always evaluate this arithmetic operators values before evaluating these relational operators. Now, I guess you might not, you might have actually known what this modulus operator does, and you might even distinguish the difference between the multiplication symbol in a computer program with a real life example. In a computer program, we use this asterisk symbol to represent multiplication. And this modulus operator, what it does, it actually takes up two operands, then performs a division operation, and what it does, it does not take the quotient, or it does not take any other value, but it takes the remainder and it prints out or stores it inside a variable. Now let's see one example using this modulus operator, and then we'll be moving on to using this arithmetic operator along with these relational operators. Now to use this, let's create one variable first. So let's name this modulus op, and now let's actually use something like, maybe we need to use a number that will give us a remainder. We can't use something like 2 divided by or 4 divided by. We can't use. Let's use 3 modulus 5. So let's save this program, and then we'll be reversing this value, and we'll also see how this operates. Now let's print this out on our browser. Well, I haven't actually used it. I've actually forgot to cut this off. I've actually forgot to use the alert function to output the value on our header section. Now, yep, it will print. Now let's save this. So here we go. We have the alert JavaScript alert box on our browser printed, and it printed the value of 3. So you might be wondering, why is it actually 3? The reason behind is that the first thing, let's cut this off. So the first thing the compiler encounters